Welcome to StudyIQ's initiative on mains discussion of WBCS paper. আজকে যেটা আমরা ডিসকাস করব that is related to the history part, right? History GS questions. So তুমি যদি এবছর মেন্স দিচ্ছো for your key and যদি upcoming year দেবে কিংবা তুমি যদি প্রিও দিচ্ছো, so these questions are very important. Please listen carefully. 100 questions we have to discuss. So unlike other days যেদিন আমি খুব depth এ discuss করি, today we will discuss it in a little hurry. Okay, so that all the 100 questions are covered in time and you get the key too. So let's start without wasting any time. First question was who was a moderate nationalist leader? So moderate and the extremist, right? So we know this two part, and in the extremist we know the famous leader Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and also Bipin Chandra Pal, the Lal Bal Pal trio. And so three of them are mentioned. Then who is it? Moderate leader Narogi ji, right? Dadabhai Narogi was the person who was one of the leaders of the moderates, right? B is the right. Yusufzai revolt took place during the reign of whom? So Yusufzai revolt took place during the name of the Mughals. এবার দুবার হয়েছে এটা, first at the time of Akbar, second at the time of Aurangzeb. But Akbarer time যখন হয়েছিল it was more prominent, it was more big scale, and basically this Yusufzai revolt was against the Mughal empire who was fighting it, the Afghan tribes. So here the answer could be B or D, okay, B or C, sorry, and higher chances are it will go with Akbar. ঠিক আছে, Aurangzeb কিন্তু answer আসতে পারে. Let's see it. The school of Gandhara art flourished during the reign of whom? So if you see the Gandhara art, this is a clubbing of the Indian style with the Roman style. যেমন ধরো Bamiyan Buddha, the statue of Bamiyan Buddha with his curly flocks of hairs, with his facial expression, যেগুলো তোমার mostly Roman style কে কিংবা Roman god কে imitate করছে. So this was at the time of the Kushans. So Kushan time we saw the Gandhara art school. Who composed Nagnand and Ratnavali? So Ratnavali and Nagnand, these two are written by Harshavardhan, and Nagnandan and Ratnavali duto boi jodi dekho, it has some spiritual essence as well, especially the Nagnandan which has something related to Buddha as well, right? So A is the answer. Who was the president of Lahore Congress? 1929. So it's very important because Lahore Congress was the time when we declared Purna Swaraj as our aim. And we didn't want dominion status or anything but Purna Swaraj, complete independence. So it was during the time of the presidentship of Jawaharlal Nehru. Basically এটা একটা খুব auspicious moment ছিল for India, and Gandhiji nominated Jawaharlal Nehru because he wanted the youth to be appealed into the movement, right? So A is the answer. Sixth question দেখো, this is basically a question যেটা পরেও তুমি আরেকবার repetition এ দেখবে, same ধরনের and same এখান থেকে options নেওয়া হয়েছে. So they are asking you কোন particular pair, which of the following pair is correctly matched, okay? So all the other three are incorrectly matched. First is Jawaharlal Nehru ঘরে বাইরে, no. ঘরে বাইরে is written by Rabindranath Tagore. Dadabhai Narogi writes poverty and un-British rule in India, yes. So answer is B, because Dadabhai Narogi, you know that he actually exposed the myth that the white people, that is the British people, are doing good to India, but rather what we could see when he exposed the myth that they are using the resources of India for their own benefits. So that was the answer. And Rabindranath Tagore, Anandamath, no, is written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, Anandamath, and Rabindranath Tagore has written Ghore Baire. Discovery of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, so it has been swapped basically. Who was the first viceroy of India? So first viceroy of India was declared after just the 1857 revolt. So it was Lord Canning, okay, Lord Canning. যখন আমরা Queen's Proclamation দেখি, just after that Lord Canning becomes the viceroy of India. Who was not the member of Congress Socialist Party? So Congress Socialist Party was basically a socialist based, socialism ideology based part of the Congress. Congressের মধ্যেই ছিল, and this was basically started by Jayaprakash Narayan Ram Manohar Lohia ji and Narendra Dev, Acharya Narendra Dev. So Firoz Shah Mehta was not part of it, okay? Firoz Shah Mehta was not part of it. যখন not লেখা থাকে, try to underline so that you don't miss it. Which Gupta ruler saved the Gupta Empire from the invasion of the Hunas or Huns? So basically at the time of Skandagupta, Huns came to India and tried to invade, but Skandagupta could actually avert this particular Hun invasion. So এটা আমরা particularly পাই হচ্ছে Junagadh inscription, okay? And he actually selects and elects, you can say, Parnadatta as the head of the Saurashtra region at that time. So it's Skandagupta, okay? Answer is A. Bal Gangadhar Tilak was the editor of the newspaper, the Marathi, okay, the Maratha as you say it, okay? So this is the thing, and you have to remember all this one, the Bande Mataram, the Inquirer is a foreign newspaper, the Hindu patriot. Hindu patriot এর উপর I think পরেও একটা question আছে, we will discuss it. Okay. Then let's go to the question number 11. Who composed Raj Tarangini? So Raj Tarangini, you know, Kashmir's dynasties, the dynasty history of Kashmir has been composed by Kalahana, right? And it is said as Raj Tarangini, is called as Raj Tarangini. এটার একটা second part আছে যেটা জোনা রাজা করেছিল, and that was Raj Tarangini 2. The duration of tripartite struggle. So basically the tripartite struggle for the occupation of Kannauj, it was during the time of the 8th to 10th century AD, right? So it was basically the Palas, the Rashtrakutas and the Pratiharas, right? They three were under Palas from Bengal. So you know this was for 8th to 10th century AD. So it was for 200 years approximately. Okay, so answer would be A here. Which Gupta ruler took the title Vikramaditya? We know that Vikramaditya titled initially the third Gupta ruler. It was Chandragupta Vikramaditya II. ঠিক আছে, so basically Sri Gupta started the period, but generally আমরা Chandragupta 1 থেকেই consider করি the Gupta era. So we consider Chandragupta 1, Samudragupta, then Chandragupta 2, right? So Chandragupta 2 is the one who takes the title of Vikramaditya. So দেখো এর আগেও আমি বলেছিলাম যে মরিয়ানস হোক কিংবা নান্দাজ হোক, otherwise the Guptas হোক, এগুলো কিন্তু খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট থাকবে because these are the places, these are the periods which is returning to the Bengal, right? যেটা তোমার বেঙ্গলের জন্য this is the history which we generally read. So that is why this part is very, very important. Who was the founder of the Servants of India Society? So very easy, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, right? D. Ibadat Khana. Ibadat Khana, if you see, Ibadat Khana was the house of worship. House of worship যখন first start হয়েছিল, it was for the Sufis, but later as you have seen that Akbar became very secular with his policies. He invited other religious priests and other religious fathers as well. So that is why that Akbar's Ibadat Khana was open to all, and this was during the reign of Akbar, right? It was at Fatehpur Sikri, right? 16. Who was the leader of the Indigo Revolt? So Indigo Revolt, you know, very famous, started from the Nadia district, and it was by the two brothers and Bishwas, whether we call it Digambar and Bishwacharan Biswas. So it is C. So Digambar option এ কিন্তু শুধু Digambar দিয়েছে, you do not have the option of Bishwacharan. So that is the thing. Who was the author of the book Muntakab-ul-Twarik? So Muntakab-ul-Twarik is a very famous book written by Badoni. So Badoni তোমার যখন Muntakab-ul-Twarik লিখছে, it's just not about Akbar's reign, but also even his precursors and even something related to the Delhi Sultanate, okay, the Mamluk time, that is the slave dynasty, ওই time থেকে কিন্তু this book contains a lot of history. So it is D. Who was associated with the home rule movement in India? So Home Rule League was found by Annie Besant, right? But Home Rule movement both Annie Besant and Bal Gangadhar Tilak were part of it. So দেখো এখানে তোমাকে Annie Besant এমনিও দেয়নি, so that you do not get confused, but both of them were part of it. But Home Rule League যদি দেয়, it's Annie Besant who started it. Home Rule movement 1916 started by Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant, ठीक है? Akbarnama was composed by Abu Fazl, right? Abu Fazl actually composed Akbarnama, and এটার আরেকটা part, যেটা third part of it, Akbarnama, that is Aini Akbari, and this is basically related to the policies of Akbar. ঠিক আছে, বাকি যে পার্টটা আকবরনামা সেটাতে অন্যান্য যে প্রিকারসর রুলার্স অফ মুঘল ডাইনাস্টি তাদের ব্যাপারেও কিন্তু কিছু কিছু জিনিস লেখা আছে, ওকে, রাইট. So who composed the Buddha Charitra? Buddha Charitra was composed by Ashwaghosh, right? Ashwaghosh composed the Buddha Charitra, and this is basically respected to the Buddhian philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, right? Okay. 21. Which one was known as All White Commission? All White Commission, all the members were white people. It was the Simon Commission. You know the year, it is 1928, and this was basically to review India je previous policies eschilo, that is the 1990 Maltego change for reform. So otar basis what changes should be done. So based on that, Simon Commission comes, and you know Simon Commission visits India, especially Bombay, and it was not welcomed properly. People were against it because all the members were non-Indians, all the members were white people. So question number 22, what is the meaning of the word Gadar? Gadar movement we know, right? Gadar mane hocche the revolt. Gadar mane hocche the revolt, right? The third annual conference of Indian National Congress was held where? See, all the three conferences, first, second, third, are very important. Starting with 1885, it's held at Bombay, you know, and Vomesh Chandra Banerjee is actually presiding it. Second হচ্ছে 1886, and second is by Dadabhai Narogi president, and at Calcutta. Third is held at Madras, and this was held by whom? This was presided by Badruddin Taibji, and he was the first Muslim president for the INC. 24. Which Mahajanpada of 16th century BC, a very good question, very important question, was an aristocratic oligarchic republic, confederacy of 8 clans governed in accordance with the republican principles. Now see, even though the question seems a little tough, but ekhane ekta jinish hocche, ekhane jodi tomake Malla and other options ite ekটু tough hoye jeto, but because they have given the option of Magad, Vajji, Kashi and Koshla, you can directly go with Vajji, because Vajji was a republic, right? And Malla was also a republic. Then you see Kamboj was also a republic, but they are not in the options. Okay, so ektukhani conceptual, but see, if you read the text, right, the 16 Mahajanpadas, and they are about them a little, you will be able to answer this. 25. Which god was known as Purandar to the Vedic people? Purandar মানে হচ্ছে one who destroys the fort, one who destroys the fort, the celestial god. So in the Rig Veda, who is the celestial god? Is Indra. Indra is the celestial god, right? And two other gods we have, Varun and Agni. Varun হচ্ছে তোমার sky, right? Celestial মানে হচ্ছে upper than sky, and Agni is the one who is the messenger from earth to God. Okay. So 26. During Alexander's invasion, who was the ruler? So see, Alexander invaded India at the time of the Nandas, and at that time you see Dhananand was there. Tarpore amra dekhbo Mauryans will come into the picture, and that time Chandragupta Maurya will actually take the sword. Okay. So answer is A. 27. Who was the famous artist of Akbar's court? So Akbar's court, two famous artists were there. One was Baswan, and the second one was Daswant. Okay, Daswant and Baswan. So they two were the famous artists. Who composed Arthashastra? Very easy question. Kautilya composed Arthashastra, and it is based on basically Chandragupta Maurya one, and his ideas and his way of ruling, and also Kautilya is suggesting that how Kautilya Chanakya, how you may call him, basically suggestion je kibhabe rule kora uchit, right? How a emperor should be. Kailasnath temple at Kanchipuram, very very important, is built by whom? It's built by the Pallavas. Okay, so Narasimha Barman, you know, second was the one who built it, and Kailasnath temple is one at Ellora, right? That is built by the Rashtrakuta king Krishna I. So therefore don't get confused between the two, it's very important, and try to remember this. Anyway, WBCS doesn't want you to get confused, তাই জন্য এখানে কিন্তু Rashtrakuta is not an option. So Pallavas is the answer. First battle of Panipat, very easy, 1526, Ibrahim Lodi versus the Mughal emperor, the starting of the Mughals. So a very easy question, and you can easily answer it. So Babur versus Ibrahim Lodi. A. So second battle of Panipat, 1556, the third battle, 1761, all three are very very important. Who was the founder of the INC? INC is your founder, A.O. Hume, right? A.O. Hume, because the lightning conductor, right? All this theory of A.O. Hume. So A is the answer. Who reformed the revenue system during the rule of Akbar? So it was Raja Todarmal, right? See, so he was the one who actually made the Bandobast system. Under it, two systems were there. One was the revenue and another was the taxation, right? So we have the Zabt system and the Dahshala system based on that. Okay? Which of the following pair is not correct? দেখো এর আগে একটা question আমরা similar দেখেছি, and then again we have that type of a question. The Hindu Patriot is written by Harishchandra Mukherjee, yes, of course. Dinabandhu Mitra, Neel Darpan, yes, based on the Indigo Revolt. Rabindranath Tagore wrote Gora, yes. Ghore Baire এর আগেই আমরা দেখলাম, written by Tagore, so this is incorrect. So D is the incorrect one. They are asking the not correct one. Who was associated with this Sunset Law? Sunset Law was actually the Permanent Settlement Act of Lord Cornwallis, right? The Permanent Settlement Act 1793. Who came to Jahangir's court? So Jahangir's court ke eshilo? Thomas Roe, Sir Thomas Roe came, and he was the representative of the British. You see Ibn Battuta is here. Ibn Battuta, the Moroccan traveler who visited the Tughlaqs, right? Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And you have Nunis, Domingo Piaz, both visited the Vijayanagar. So that is not the answer. So here the answer is A, Sir Thomas Roe. Montagu Chelmsford reform was introduced in 1919, right? See, so এগুলো দেখো কিছু কিছু question খুবই easy. 1909 you know the Morlemento. So Montagu Chelmsford is 1919, right? Under it কি কি ছিল you should know, right? এগুলো হয়তো prelims এ কি mains এ আবার আসতে পারে. When Gandhiji did give his famous slogan, do or die. You know, the Quit India movement, right? So very, very easy. And the last movement basically with respect to India's revolt to independence, and the year is also very important, 1942. So look into mone rakhte hobe. Who was associated with this Theosophical Society? So you see, Theosophical Society started working from New York. Okay, H.P. Blavatsky and Olcott was there. After that, it shifted to India in Adyar in Madras, and that time Annie Besant was leading it. Hindu College was established in 1817, and this was a college or a educational institution which was dedicated to Indian and westernized both type of education, best of both. So it was the idea of Raja Ram Mohan Rai and his friends Alexander Dove and David Hare actually established it, right? Battle of 10 Kings is written in the 7th mandala, 7th chapter of the Rig Veda. Okay? Battle of 10 Kings, you know, the king, the tribal king, tribal confederation versus the Bharat king, right? The king of the Bharatas. So that was the Battle of 10 Kings. Then let's move into 41. Who among the following viceroys ridiculed the Indian National Congress as it is representing only a microscopic minority of people? So basically, যখন Congress established হচ্ছে, Lord Dufferin said this. Okay, Lord Dufferin said this. The Nasik inscription gives information about the Satvahana. So it was actually established at basically this Nasik inscription, you will find it in Maharashtra, and this Nasik inscription talks about Gautamiputra Satakarni. Who writes it? His mother. Okay, his mother actually gave this, and this was written by Gautami Balsari. Sorry, Gautami Balsari is writing about his son Gautamiputra Satakarni, the ruler of Satvahana. Okay. Lucknow Pact was an agreement between, very easy, I don't think that anything there is to discuss. A, of course, the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League, right? দুজনের মধ্যে this Lucknow Pact was signed. So basically, this was a consideration and coming together of both the political parties. So which was the capital city? Another thing, just a second, before we go to this one, Lucknow Pact, you know, was signed between Tilak and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Okay, that is also important. Which was the capital city of Magad during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya? So Chandragupta Maurya time, the capital was Pataliputra, and also you should know that Udain actually shifted the capital from Rajgir to Pataliputra. Which Governor General introduced the doctrine of lapse? Doctrine of lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie, right? Lord Dalhousie introduced it, and you see, doctrine of lapse was what basically? If a particular ruler dies without a male heir and own male heir, মানে নিজের সন্তান অ্যাডপ্টেড হওয়া চলবে না, তাহলে কিন্তু দ্যাট পার্টিকুলার টেরিটরি উড বি টেকেন আপ। এটা কি প্রথমবার ব্রিটিশরাই করেছিল? নো, দেখো প্রিভিয়াসলিও ইন্ডিয়াতে কিন্তু এই লটা ছিল, বাট ইউজ হতো না সেরকম ভাবে। Okay, but when doctrine of lapse was introduced by Dalhousie, he used it rampantly. Okay, 46th Treaty of Purandar 1665 was basically signed between the Maratha king Shivaji versus the Rajput king Jai Singh I. So this was basically Jai Singh was representing the Mughal forces. Okay, so after this actually Shivaji অনেকগুলো fort Aurangzebকে দিয়ে দেয়, but after that Shivaji, you will see Shivaji and his son will revamp again. 47. Which act was described as the Black Act by Gandhiji? Very easy, Rowlatt Act 1919. So why Rowlatt Act is the Black Act? Because ওয়ারেন্ট ছাড়া কাউকে অ্যারেস্ট করা, ওয়ারেন্ট ছাড়া কোনো জায়গাতে সিজ করা কিংবা ওখানে গিয়ে পরে চেক করা, this all things were there, and also you see that vakil dalil, all these things were not permitted under it. So without a trial also একটা লোককে 2 বছর জেলে রাখতে পারতো under this. So this was against the civil liberties, the rights of the people. That's why it was called as the Black Act. 48. Who was known as the Parrot of India? It was Amir Khusro, right? Amir Khusro, the father of Qawwali, the father of Urdu. Amir Khusro is the parrot of India. Okay. Also, he is called as Tuti-i-Hind, the Tota Hindka, right? 49. The Simon Commission visited India in 1928. একটু আগে আমরা এটা করলাম, all white commission. Okay. Which ancient Indian ruler was the chief patron of the 4th Buddhist Council? So all the four Buddhist council are important. First one you know, starting with Ajatashatru, second one you know Kalashok, third one Ashok, and fourth one is Kanishka. So where was this held? It was held at Kashmir in Kundarban, right? So you should remember it. 51. In which year Vasco da Gama came in Calicut or the Kerala state? So basically Vasco da Gama kokhon ashe, he discovering India. It is the time of 1498. ठीक है. Who composed Vikramadeva Charitra? Vikramadeva Charitra is basically on the Western Chalukya king Vikramaditya, and it was composed by Bilhana. Who was the author of the book? Hind Swaraj. Hind Swaraj is Indian Home Rule bola hoy boitake, both are same. Indian Home Rule and Hind Swaraj was written by Gandhiji. Okay, I think approximately at the time of 1909. Jizya was reimposed by, so Jizya was done away by Akbar. Okay, and then again reimposed by Aurangzeb. তো প্রথমবার যখন জিজিয়া হয়েছিল it was at the time of the Mamluk dynasty. So after that হাটানো হয়েছিল, but again at the time of Aurangzeb it was reimposed, and before him Akbar also removed it once. Okay, who appointed the Amini Commission? Amini Commission was actually appointed by Lord Warren Hastings to look into the agrarian system of India. Indiate je agriculture system setake look out korar jonno it was made, this Amini Commission. Okay, now let's move to 56, the Swaraj Party. Now Swaraj and the No Changers, you know. So basically after the NCM, non-cooperation movement, and especially after the Chauri Chaura incident, there was what? Chauri Chaura pore the movement has to be withdrawn because violence was erupting. Gandhiji didn't want the movement anyway to be violent because we could not be able to sustain a violent movement against the mighty British Empire. So at that time there were two parties, the Swarajists who wanted to contest the election, arekta party chilo jara tomar work on the basis of social work, reformist work korte jaito. So this Swarajist people were the people who wanted to contest the elections and who started the C.R. Dar, Chittaranjan Das and Motilal Nehru, right? And you see Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose, all of them were part of the No Changer group, supporting the ideas of Gandhiji at that time. 57, who was not the member of cabinet mission of 1946? So you have three members, Stafford Cripps, A.V. Alexander and Pethick Lawrence, Sir Pethick Lawrence. Henry Lawrence was not part of it, and Henry Lawrence was actually part of the 1857 revolt, and from the United Province he was actually trying to circumvent the revolt at that time. So he is a military official. Okay, Henry Lawrence. So he is not. দেখো not আমি অনেকবার বলেছি not underline করে নেবে so that you don't make a mistake. Who composed the Milindo Panho? Milindo Panho is actually written by whom? Nagsena, right? So you see Nagsena is basically conversating with the Bactrian Greek ruler and Milinder or Minander, and at that time the conversation is the Milindo Panho. Okay, and who is Nagsena? He is the Buddhist monk. Who composed the book Tahrik-e-Hind or Tahqiq-e-Hind? It's Al-Biruni. So Al-Biruni, you know, Al-Biruni is very famous because he was a person যে history হোক, languages হোক, mineralogy হোক, সবকিছু নিয়ে কিন্তু পড়াশোনা করেছিল. So one of the best scholars who visited India, wrote about India, is Al-Biruni, and his book Tahrik-e-Hind actually gives the best history at that time about India. Fine. During the Arab invasion of 712 AD, the ruler of Sindh was defeated by Muhammad bin Qasim, right? C is the answer. So ruler of Sindh ke chilo Raja Dahir, and Raja Dahir was a Hindu ruler, right? So all these things have to be known, and this war was taken specially in the name of jihad. Okay, chalo. Surat split took place in 1907 B. So it was between the people, two groups of people, moderates and extremists. So Tilak's idea was not accepted. Ar ekhane tomar je head chilo Surate, that was Rashbihari Bose at that time, right? 62. Who was the then Governor General of India at the time of the Great Revolt of 57? So same, je tomar first Viceroy, he was only the Governor General of India at 1857, Lord Canning. Who had 9 jewels in his court? The Gupta Emperor Vikramaditya Chandragupta II. Vikramaditya Chandragupta II. So all the 9 jewels, especially Kalidas, Vara Mihira, Vara Ruchi, all these names are very important. Not Anami kintu mone rakhte hobe, and Kalidas's written novels are very, very important. Sati Act was passed in the year 1929. So Sati ব্যাপারে তোমরা জানো, it was basically at the instance of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So it was the Bengal code যেটা pass হয়েছিল, law you can say it was the 17 code 17. Okay, who founded the Indian Association? Yes, very easy question, Surendranath Banerjee. And Indian Association কে আমরা just precursor of the Indian National Congress হিসেবে দেখি, and after that Indian National Congress come into being, and তারপরে association, Indian Association and INC are same. Chandragupta Maurya was a follower of Jainism, very easy, and after that his son was Ajivika and Ashoka was Buddhist, right? 67. Which one is not true about Pune Pact? So let's know the Pune Pact. Pune Pact কিসের জন্য হয়েছিল? Basically, after the round table conferences and the passage of after the round table conferences, basically the passage of, you see, the separate electorate. So what happened is Gandhiji didn't want it. What? That separate electorate for the depressed classes, right? So for that, B.R. Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhiji signed a pact, and that is the Pune Pact. It was signed in the Yerwada jail, which is in Pune, and it was at the time of 1932. Also, you see, so etar basic purpose ki chilo? For disagreement to the point of separate electorate for Hindus and Muslims. Okay, so the D is the correct one, because it didn't accept the separate electorate for Hindus and Muslims. It was not the fact, but it was talking about what? The depressed class or Hindus er moddhe kono difference nei, and we will give you more representation, but we will not give you separate electorate. So let's come for that. So that was the main aim. Who founded Khudai Khidmatgar? Red shirts so bola hoy, and especially in the CDM, civil disobedience movement, we see them in large scale. So Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan or the Frontier Gandhi, it was at the time of the CDM that we could see them participate. It was a non-violent movement, that is why it's called as Frontier Gandhi also, and it was at the time of it is in the portion of the northwestern part of India when Gandhi Irwin Pact was signed. So basically first round table conference for, so that the Congress does participate, because otherwise Congress was representing the whole India per se. So even with the heavy heart, Irwin actually called Gandhi for this pact in the year of 1931, right? Basically, so that INC goes for the second round table conference, jeta INC gechilo, but third e jaini. So first and third e jaini, second e gechilo, but nothing of substance came out of it, because by that time we have already wanted what? Purna Swaraj in the Lahore session. So the capital of the Pallava ruler was Kanchipuram, right? Kanchipuram is the capital of the Pallava rulers. Very easy question. Dwarka, Hampi, you know, Hampi is not, Dwarka is not, Ujjain is not, right? Who introduced Kabuliyat and Patta? So Kabuliyat and Patta is a system jeta tomar Sher Shah Suri actually introduced, and this was, what do you mean by that? Basically, এটা হচ্ছে একটা land settlement or land revenue collection system. Under it, a patta will be given. Suppose I am the farmer, তুমি আমাকে একটা patta দেবে, that this is the land you are giving me for agriculture, and I will give you a kabuliyat. Kabuliyat matlab acceptance letter, okay, that I will adhere to this, I will adhere to the amount of collection you are saying, and ওটাতে আমি signature কিংবা thumbprint দেব. So that was the idea of kabuliyat and patta, যেটা পরবর্তী কালেও কিন্তু continue হয়েছিল. Fort William College was found by Lord Wellesley, and it was the year 1800. So Lord Wellesley found it for training of the civil servants. But later what we see, that the Britain's cabinet was not very happy with it, and later Williams College থেকে again London training start হয়. The Vernacular Press Act, very famous, was by Lord Lytton, and it was one of the big black mark, and this is what made Indians more aware of the importance of nationalism, the idea of nationalism, and especially Lord Lytton's pass of Vernacular Press Act, and after that Amrit Bazar Patrika changing by the night into an English newspaper was something which we should know about. Okay, okay, chalo. 74. From which inscription we get the important information about the Saka ruler Rudradaman? So see, Saka ruler Rudradaman, we get the idea from the Junagadh inscription, right? Junagadh inscription is the one, and about here we get about the ruling and the idea that how he was ruling. So Rudradaman one er byapare, from here we get a lot of idea. So it's in Girnar in Gujarat. Okay, Nadir Shah invaded India during the time of the Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah. Year is 1739. Who won the first battle of Tarain? So first battle of Tarain, Prithviraj Chauhan versus the Muhammad Ghori, right? Second battle, Muhammad Ghori wins and Prithviraj Chauhan loses the battle. So first battle was won by Prithviraj Chauhan and not Muhammad Ghori, right? Who started Brahmo Samaj movement? Very easy. Brahmo Samaj movement. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, right? So it is something which you should be able to tell anytime you asked. ঘুম থেকে উঠে জিজ্ঞেস করলেও বলতে পারবে, তাই তো? Easy question. 1828. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Who was the last ruler of Delhi Sultanate? The the first battle of Panipat, right? It's between the Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. So the last ruler is Ibrahim Lodi, है ना? Lothal. Lothal is the dockyard of Indus Valley civilization located in the state of Gujarat. First dockyard, first port of India. Who invaded South India? So South India te basically Alauddin Khilji invaded. Basically Alauddin Khilji didn't do it. He wanted it to be done by Malik Kafur and Malik Kafur did it. ঠিক আছে, Malik Kafur ke he sent to southern India and Malik Kafur basically invaded the southern India. চলো এরপরে আমরা মোহাম্মদ বিন তুগলকের টাইমে we will see some of his quest into southern India. Indigo Rebellion. Very easy. Just we discussed some time ago when we were talking about Neel Darpan and other things. So Indigo Rebellion started in Bengal. है ना? So it was during the time of 1859, 1860, and this is important. 82. Which Governor General's reign of partition was declared in 1905? Bengal partition কখন হয়েছিল? At the time of Lord Curzon, right? Lord Curzon's time হয়েছিল and Bengal partition was revoked at the time of 1911. Lord Hardinge. Who was the first Muslim president of the Indian National Congress? Third INC session. Badruddin Taibjat, Madras, 1887. Just now we discussed কিছুক্ষণ আগে এটা একটা question ছিল third session. Who was the leader of the Santhal rebellion? Santhal rebellion, you know that it is basically in the Chota Nagpur plateau. Sidhu and Kanu Murmu. So Santhal rebellion, A is the answer. Sidhu Murmu or Kanu Murmu. Kanu Murmu is not here. Which Mughal ruler granted Diwani rights to the Bengal to the English East India Company? So EIC, especially after the Battle of Buxar, right? 1764. At that time, who is the ruler of the Mughal Empire? The ruler is Shah Alam II. Shah Alam II also participated in the Battle of Buxar, but they lost against the EIC. At that time, Shah Alam gave the Diwani rights to the East India Company, English East India Company. তারপরে আমরা dual government-ও দেখব, right? Mandalam and Nadu are two institutions were associated with the Cholas. দেখো Mandalam is the bigger one province. তার নিচে থাকতো Valanadu. Valanadu হচ্ছে ছোট ছোট villages. Nadu is the smallest. ঠিক আছে? And also in the Chola times we see the local self-government, right? So it's important. Who composed Khazan ul Fateh? So basically Alauddin Khilji's conquest. That is, it is based on that and it's by Amir Khusro. Okay, Amir Khusro. Third battle of Panipat, 1761. So third battle of Panipat, you know, the Marathas versus the Duranis. है ना? Which dynasty ruled over Magad before Mauryan dynasty? So এটার আমি একটা খুবই easy way বলেছিলাম. Hasina. How do we remember it? Haranyak, Sisunaga and Nandas. So just before Magadha, by Mauryans, it's Nanda, right? See, Riyodwari system was first introduced in Madras, right? So, you know, Colonial Reed, he introduced it. And also one thing you need to know that Madras chhadao Bombay te, then you see in Assam and Kurg, সেখানেও কিন্তু Riyodwari was introduced. Which was the nerve center of Quit India movement in Midnapur of Bengal? You know, the Tamralipti Jatiya Sarkar, কোথায় ছিল? Tamluk, right? Tamralipti Jatiya Sarkar was started যেটা তোমার ইন্ডিয়ার or বেঙ্গলের নিজের governance, okay, to oppose the governance of the British people. So that was in Tamluk. Who was the president of Indian National Congress of 1885? First president, okay. First president is Womesh Chandra Banerjee, right? And কোথায় হয়েছিল? It was in Bombay, Golwalia Tank. Who was the first Indian ruler to accept the subsidiary alliance? So subsidiary alliance was first accepted by the Nizam of Hyderabad. Asaf Jah II bola hoy take. Okay, so he was the first one to accept the Wellesley's subsidiary alliance. Who was known as the frontier Gandhi? Just we did it, right? Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, red shirts, Khudai Khidmat Kar. Same, he was the head of it. when the British government transferred the capital from Kolkata to Delhi. So just after this was revoked, the Bengal partition 1911, they transferred the capital from Kolkata to Delhi. তখন তোমার গভর্নর কে ছিল? লর্ড হার্ডিং, right? A is the answer. Lord Harding 2, but remember. Newspaper The Bengali was founded by Surendranath Bandyopadhyay or Banerjee, how you may call him, Surendranath Banerjee, right? In which year the Queen's Proclamation was issued? Queen's Proclamation just after 1857 revolt আমরা দেখব. Why? Because Queen will take the whole India under its occupation. পুরো ইন্ডিয়াকে জব্দ করবে. That was the time of 1858. এটার উপর বেস করে the Government of India Act will be passed, and তারপর এর আগে যে অ্যাক্টস গুলো ছিল, you must have seen, they are called as Carter Act. এরপরে they are Government of India Act, directly from the Queen. Which Mughal ruler took the title Alamgir? It is none other than Aurangzeb. Who was the general and successor of Muhammad Ghuri? দেখো এই কোশ্চেনটা একটুখানি typical, because if you consider the part of Ghurid dynasty, then it is not Kutubuddin Aibak. But to make it simple, they have not given any other option. So considering India জন্য জিজ্ঞেস করা হচ্ছে, so Yalduz was at the place of Lahore mostly, so it is Kutubuddin Aibak. So India te when we are considering, it is Kutubuddin Aibak. Signatories of the Treaty of Bassein with the English East India Company and the Marathas, right? Bajirao II, and after this 1802 Treaty of Bassein, you will see that dhire dhire the power of the Marathas will decrease, and 1818 totally disintegration of the Maratha rule under the Peshwas. Okay, so at this time the Peshwa was Bajirao II. So 100 questions we have done. If there is some issue, as I always say, কিছু যদি তোমার doubt থাকে, you can mail me at kinkini.mukherjee@studyIQ.com, and stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy. Jai Hind.